Hey, Gospel Guitarist here with option number 2 on using multiple processors together, basically using anything with the Roland GR-55 unit. I have another user that's been trying to do this type of scenario with one amplifier, and after thinking about it some more, I came up with option 2 or part 2 to the video that I already released on using multiple processors. What I came up with was pretending that I had just an amp with a single input, and you just only have one amp. I don't have any acoustic amp, but I still want the flexibility. So what I wound up with, you have to make some sacrifices at this point if you're just absolutely determined to use like a Boss system or a Line 6 or whatever processor you have on the floor, and you just insist on getting your guitar sounds out of that, but you really want your other things going on over here on your synth into one amplifier. So first thing you need to do is you have to sacrifice the dirty channel on your amplifier and plug into the clean channel, and only use the clean channel. Now the way I have this set up, now once again I have my GC1 Strat, which has the MIDI system built in. The GK3 is built into the guitar, but the wiring is still the same. So what you need to do is, if you're using the GK3 mounted on the side of your guitar, you want to take your guitar and plug it in the way you would normally run your electric guitar. Just pretend the GK3 is not there at all. Do not come out of the 1/4" jack and plug it into the GK3. Plug your guitar cord into your output of your magnetic pickups and run it directly into your sound processor. The MIDI side of the system, you're just going to hook up your MIDI cord and run it to the GR-55. So if I had a GK3 on here, then I would run a MIDI cord from the GK3 straight to this and run the electric output straight to this. So the switch that we have available on your GK3, only 2 parts of it work. The third part's not going to work, because what this switch is actually doing is controlling the guitar MIDI signal mix on the MIDI cable. But we're not running the electric through the MIDI cable now. We're running it straight out into our processor. So this switch position, you're going to have 2 positions where you can hear the MIDI and your electric, because you're bypassing the switch on the GK3 by going direct. So now that that's all confusing, you're going to run 2 cables out of your guitar. And if you're doing this on stage, you're looking at a lot of cables. But if you're doing it in a studio and messing around at home, there's some pretty cool things you can do still. So that's the wiring at the GK, or here on the GC1 guitar. And from there, as far as the processor wiring is concerned, I'm using a HOSA normal stereo type cord. You got your gray end, which I'm plugging into the mono output on the synthesizer, and then I'm plugging the orange end in on the mono output of the guitar processor. Now the other end of the cord, this is where the trick is. You want to plug it into a 1/4" Y cable. Okay? So my synth's plugging in here, my guitar is plugging in here, and this is why you need to basically omit the distortion channel on your amplifier and go with only the clean. You're going to have to get all your distortion tones from your guitar processor. So your clean guitar and your distortion guitar are working through your processor and into the clean channel. Your synthesizer is working from the GK3, sending your MIDI pickup only into your guitar synth. So you don't have anything else going on here. and then both of the processors are meeting at the Y cable, and you plug it into your clean channel, and that's it. That's the whole wiring to do this with one channel, one clean amp. So this is the in my opinion, this is kind of like the hard way of doing what you could do with just the GR-55 alone. But if you are a super fan of what your processor can do and you've got all your tones in there, you may want to have to redesign them and build a bunch of patches over here too. But just from messing around with this so far, you can come up with some kind of interesting things going on, which I'll show you in a second. As far as volume control, how are you going to control this? You've got your MIDI control on your GK3 that can control the volume on your GR-55 as well as the foot pedal if you want to use the foot pedal that way. And then you've got your magnetic output volume on your guitar, and if you've got your volume pedal on the floorboard as well. So it's up to you how you want to control your volumes, but you do have your options. So a little demo of how this all can work together. Let me kill, I'll just go with the synth first. So you're going to want to set your levels up however you need them, however loud your loudest music's going to be. You want to base everything off of that. So once again, I have a string setting going on my synth, and its control can be controlled with the foot pedal. And then I also have your clean and distortion tone coming from the ME50 in my case. Throw a little chorus on there. So because I have chorus on here, I'm not missing any chorus on the Jazz Chorus amp because it's same company. Basically, I can make it sound the same anyway. So it sounds as if I'm only in the other setup. So it sounds like I can. This is the same sound I was getting when I was playing through the MIDI cable alone. So I can still do those kinds of things. One of the things I was messing with though earlier was you can do so you can play like guitar licks with a bass playing along with it, and if you want it to sound like more than one, you can throw a little delay on there. So the delay plays your guitar clean, just your guitar tone, but when you're actually picking it, you're throwing a bass in on top of it. So see? So that's kind of a cool thing going on there. Just something I discovered messing around with this setup. So you can do some pretty cool stuff. But like me personally, if I wanted this, well, I can do all that with just the GR-55 by itself. I don't need this. So all I have to do is program that distortion model into this patch, and I can do the same thing without all the extra wiring going on. So it's to each his own, okay? Let's not be too judgmental about, well, you're doing things the hard way. Yeah, but if it's your favorite tones in the box that you're using and you don't want to sacrifice that and you're performing on stage and you got an album out and it's original stuff and you just can't do it any other way, then the synth is something you're adding to the sounds you have already, this could be a useful way to go. But some people actually hire professionals out there to program their gear for them too. I know there's a guy on YouTube that does that. Can't remember who it is, but you can buy patches from him, but it ain't cheap. So this is another workaround, so consider it part 2 or option 2 for using other processors along with your GR-55 guitar processor. But like I said, there are sacrifices. You have to use more than one cable right on your guitar. You're going to lose the distortion channel of your amp, so if you're getting your distortion tone there, you're going to have to dial it into your processor instead. And your MIDI controller is only going to control whether this is on and off. You can't get the switch up here where it's only the synth. So it's a synth and guitar all the time, or it's only the guitar without the synth, but you can't go only synth because you bypassed this MIDI. The GK3 switch system is bypassed because you're running directly out of your guitar. So anyway, hope I hope that was helpful. A lot of little weirdness going on. It seems kind of strange, but once you see what's going on, it makes sense. It's just a few extra cables, but it enables you to do some cool stuff. So that'll be it for part 2 on the videos. So if you're interested in trying it, go ahead. All you need is basically a Y connector at your input on your guitar amp to do this. So if you were to do it on stage, the cables running out of both of them, you can get these in 20-foot length stock from Hosa and put it together with a 20-foot guitar cable. It's one way you could run from one section of the stage back to the amp, or use a snake. So there's options out there, just explore them, but this will get past not having 2 amps. So anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and Happy New Year.